This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
The views expressed by guests on this program do not necessarily represent the views of the host or owners of the Doggy Diva show and do not necessarily constitute endorsement of products. Medical information discussed by guests on this program are those of the guests and is only for informational purposes and should not replace medical advice by your local veterinarian professional.
Hi, this is Susan Marie from the Doggy Diva show. This week, dog feeding made easy, and an award-winning illustrator and children's author. That's what's on our show this week. Let's get started.
Hey, did you hear that? What is that? It's the bark heard round the world. The Doggy Diva show. Here's national award-winning author and animal advocate, Susan Marie.
Hi, welcome to the Doggy Diva show, the show for animal lovers. I'm your host, Susan Marie, and as always, I'm joined by my canine co-hosts, the Doggy Divas themselves, Francesca, Coco, and our newest little diva, Miss Olive. Miss Olive is the cute little Italian Greyhound rescue in the picture with the microphone. Thank you for joining us today as we bring the experts in the pet and animal world right to you. Contact us at thedoggydiva.com. That's the DOGGYDIVA.com. We love hearing from you. So go grab a cup of coffee and your pet's favorite treat, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There is no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms, and our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, Stitcher, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Doggy Diva show. I'm here with Monica Leighton, president of Professional Pet Sitting, with our pet tip of the week. And Monica, life is like crazy right now for all of us. And I think there's sometimes we look for things that could help to make things with our pets go a little easier. Is there any products or anything out there that can kind of help to make pet care easier for the pet parents?
Absolutely. So I love when I come across stuff that I can show or tell to clients and just see the relief coming over their face because they're stressed about, oh, good Lord, how am I going to figure this one out? And we had this instance just recently in the office. Of course, we have a client that has 4 cats. Very, very sweet client, very on top of their pet's care. And one of their pets has to have a special diet. Now, those of us with multi-pet homes know how challenging it can be when you have some pets that want to eat everything, and then you have others that want to eat nothing, and then you have some that will not eat out of the same bowl on a daily basis ever in their life. Like if you put multiple things down, they will sample them all at one time. So feeding can be so frustrating. And also, like for the pet families, like ours, for example, we have one of my little girls that tends to enjoy food a little more than is healthy for her. She's a little bit of a chunky monkey, and in trying to manage the amount that she intakes and doing that to where the other dogs are able to get everything they need, because then of course we have our teeny one that needs all of the food and that is super slow to eat and will oftentimes get pushed out of the way by the bigger one after she scarfs all of hers down. So it's always that kind of different foods in the household schedule and different feeding limitations. that can make things very difficult on pet owners when you get into multiples. So one thing that we found to be very helpful for our clients is they have microchip feeding bowls. These microchip feeding bowls have a tag that can go on the collar, and the bowl is a closed bowl. And there's different types of microchip feeders out there. So when the tag that's on the pet's collar comes in contact with the bowl, when it's right within that range, the bowl will open and they're able to eat. When they step back, the bowl will close. So if another pet goes over to that bowl, they do not have access to the food.
Oh, wow.
So that way, if you have a pet that can only get a certain diet, then nobody else has access to the food. Where it comes in, and there's extra features for those too, is when you have pets that, let's say, like for me, for an example, when we're out during the day, or we have some dogs that tend to be grazers, having the chip bowls with one diet for one pet and the other for the other, the one that has to be on portion control, a lot of these chip bowls have different features, and some of them have features to where like you can put the amount of food in for the day, and when they've eaten, it'll weigh the actual food. So as the weight goes down, it will increment that pet. So it will close off and it will open 3 to 4 times a day, but it will not open until a certain time frame. So you can actually time it out to where the pet is not like gouging all of its food all at one time. So those fast feeders or those ones that are on a limited diet that tend to overfeed, you can set it up in the app to either your once a day feeding, twice a day feeding, whatever it is. It'll open up after certain time frames when that pet goes over to the bowl and no more. So even though it has the tag on and it goes back over, if it's within that time frame, it will not open based on the program as well. So you can limit the amount that can be fed at one time. You can limit the frequency of how quickly they eat it. It will measure it out so you can keep track of how much that pet is eating per sitting, especially with some of our dogs that have bloating issues or eat too fast, and then we'll bring the food back up. That's also a good thing for those dogs. And then again, our cats that tend to overeat, or our kitties that have to be on special diets, that ends up being a really good fix for pet owners, especially people that work during the day and they can't be there all day to monitor things. So it comes in really handy in keeping them on what they need to be on without having chaotic household and having to go through the stress and the anxiety of feeding in different rooms and closing off pets. And it just kind of makes life a little easier. And I found that the easier it is for the pet owner to do, the better the compliance is for the pet.
I feed mine in 3 different rooms. I have we'll say she enjoys her food and she eats it very quickly. I have another one who's a very slow, picky eater, but she'll eat. And then I have another one who can get pushed around because she's the smallest. And so I feed him in 3 different rooms and I monitor so that nobody goes in each other's room, that everybody gets their food. This is like a miracle, what you're talking about. It takes all the stress out of it for me as the pet parent, and actually is kind of like a little helper to help make sure that all of this gets done kind of scientifically. I kind of like it.
Yes, absolutely. It makes life really easy for those pet parents. Now, I mean, these bowls are not cheaper end. I've seen them range anywhere from like $170 to like $270. But if you talk about a pet that has to be in a certain diet, like they have bladder stones or they have kidney disease or overeating, I mean, just the healthcare alone and the vet bills to work on these issues, if they can't be on those diets, if you can't regulate the feeding at home, it ends up costing way, way more, especially like, when you get into a dog that has crystals and you're trying to keep them on a diet, to dissolve those crystals. And then the pet's getting into other pets' food and it's not working. And then you're ending up going into surgery for bladder stones. So certain instances, and we have that all the time, where it's like, no matter what the owner tries to figure it out, the pets are so sneaky, they somehow get into other stuff.
They don't care that they're on a special diet. They go, no, Ma, you worry about that. I got some eating to do.
Yes. So, I mean, one thing I have seen about these chip bowls is that they have different brands. Some of the more popular ones I saw out there, there's some that's called Sure Pet Care, like SURE. And they have, I think, 3 different types. And they go in different levels and pricing. Like you have some that are just open and close with the tag collar, so other pets can't eat it. And then you have upgrades to where it will measure the food and things of that nature. So there's different levels for that one. And then the prices go up based on the levels. There's one that's called Wireless Whispers. That one was running $199, I believe, when I saw that one last. And that one measures and has everything within the app. And that one, with having everything, that was one of the best price as far as the features it had from what I was seeing. Again, we just kind of, was looking to help our clients that were having this issue. So just got them. So far, so good. It's working great. I don't know a whole lot as far as the longevity of the product, just because I haven't had a lot of clients that have had it for a super long period of time. So I don't know how long they're lasting for the investment, or what the average run time is on them, how quickly they break down or wear out, and things of that nature. But the clients that have started using them have really liked them.
Well, I got to tell you, Monica, that this is something that if you have a dog or a cat who has special dietary needs or overeating needs, or they eat other pets in the household food, this is something that would be very, very, it's like an investment, because it's almost investing, like going to be investing in the longevity of your pet, because it's definitely something that would like be an investment towards their care. Having had that in my house, and plus I had 2 cats that one had the little crystals and then the other could just eat anything, and he would always be eating her food. She would always be, food time can sometimes be the most stressful time and that was when I had 4 dogs and 2 cats. So food time can be so stressful. This takes the stress out of it for the pet parent, and also almost scientifically helps them put the dietary restrictions or needs together. So I think it's a great investment if people can do it.
Absolutely. I mean, it really, when it comes to the stress and the anxiety that some pet owners feel with having to deal with that calm and knowing that that's handled, and being able to go to work during the day and not have to worry about what's happening at the house.
I know.
That enough is a huge enough stress release for the clients to make it worth that investment for them.
Now, can you just give out the 2 brand names in case people didn't catch it the first time, so that they might want to check it out and see what they think?
Absolutely. So the couple that I've seen that have gotten good reviews, there's Sure Pet Care, and that's SURE Pet Care, and they have 3 different versions. There's also Wireless Whispers. There's another one called Our Wonders I'd heard about. I can tell you that, like, I've seen different blogs, different information on people that have used it, that have had good success with those 3. I have noticed that they tend to go in and out of stock very quickly. I know Chewy carries the Sure Pet Care line, Wireless Whispers. And the Sure Pet Care line, when I was on Chewy the other day, they were completely out of stock on all 3 of theirs. Wow. But again, when I went back 2 weeks prior, when I first started looking at it for clients, they were in stock. So I don't know if it was just a temporary thing or what. The Wireless Whispers, I had looked at that one yesterday, and that was in stock. So just check around, and if there's one you really like, maybe just reach out and email them through their website and see if it's a short-term or long-term availability thing. Because I did see that they were going in and out. So if there's one that you like and it's not there, definitely follow up and check in on that one.
Wow, this is wonderful news for us pet parents. So, well, Monica, as always, thank you for bringing us some great information. Have a great week, and we'll be back in just a moment. Hello, everyone. Susan Marie and Miss Olive here to tell you about the award-winning 3-book series, The Doggy Diva Diaries. It is a trilogy of heartwarming and inspirational stories about Miss Olive, a lonely little rescue pup, hoping to find her forever family and friends and a life filled with love. In this series, Miss Olive learns that it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside, it's the kindness and love you have on the inside that counts. Available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other online booksellers. And please visit us at thedoggydiva.com for more information. Thank you, everyone. Coming up, behind the scenes with the award-winning illustrator of the Doggy Diva Diaries trilogy of children's books. Stay tuned.
Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. cattreetray.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Doggy Diva Show. Rebekah Phillips is an author and an award-winning illustrator and founder of Pawz Publishing. Pawz Publishing's mission is to help children develop into being kind and thoughtful through imaginative stories filled with friendships, adventure, and fun. Rebekah is a graduate of Lime College of Fine Arts in Connecticut and has illustrated many titles for other authors in addition to her own. And I am so happy and so proud, Miss Olive and I are, to say that Rebekah is the amazing illustrator who magically brought Miss Olive's character to life in the Doggy Diva Diaries, the children's book series. So, Rebekah, you've been on before, but I want to welcome you back.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, no, it's our pleasure. Well, first, I want to thank you for encouraging me. Well, gosh, it's been 5 years now, since 6 years that you had been a guest on my show. You have beautiful children's books, and we'll talk about that in a minute. You had mentioned maybe doing some with Olive, and I'm going, oh, I don't know. And then when we met a few months later, and we kind of talked about doing maybe a 3-book, like a trilogy series, and it just seems so wild to even think about doing that back then. And here we are, the 3rd book in the series, Miss Olive Finds Her Forever Winter Wonderland, came out this in December, and it was so well received, as were the other 2, Miss Olive Finds Her Forever Home and Miss Olive Finds Her Forever Friends. But you have taken me on this wonderful journey through all of these books. I thank you so very much because of your expertise, obviously your great talent, and the magical way you brought Olive to life. It just means so much to me, and I want to thank you for that.
Oh, well, it's been a joy for me getting to know you and Olive, and you two have become good friends. And
we're like family now.
It's been awesome.
For the first-time listeners who may not be familiar with you, can you just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself? Because you are also not only a very gifted illustrator, you're also an amazing children's author. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So I actually started my own company in 2015. And I've always loved children's books. I've always loved looking through children's books at the illustrations, and it had always been a dream of mine. So I just, I dove right in, and I started self-publishing in 2015. And I came out with the book Piper Was Afraid, and then I followed after that with another book called Lily the Fancy Poo, and they all have really great character quality building messages. And then now, recently, I've moved into this new series called Farley and Friends, and it's all these different kind of unlikely acquaintances that become friends that have all these different personalities. And so it just teaches children to accept and appreciate each other, even in their differences, and, just inspiring them to be a good friend to others. So that series is a 5-book series, and I'm still in process working on that. And it has a line of plush toys with it and a cartoon that we're working on. So that's been quite an undertaking, to bring this all together. But that's been what I'm working on now, and it's been so fun. It's wonderful. The best part for me is just to see the feedback, and I'm sure it's the same with you when you get feedback from the people that purchase the books and the children that love it. That's definitely for me the most rewarding part of the process.
Well, and I have to tell you, mentioning that, people will send us pictures of their children with the book, and I know that at the time when we could be out and about, you had gone to a number of book fairs and you sent pictures of children with Olive's books. And of course, I went to some of the fairs with you, and your books are out of this world. And you also have plush to go with them. And your plush, I remember being at the events and the children coming up and were mesmerized by your plush animals that go along with your stories. Can you just tell us a little bit about your thought process in creating these? Because they're beautiful. I watch the children's faces totally light up when they see them. And you mentioned Farley, and of course he is a very special character who I've gotten to know. But can you tell us a little bit about your inspiration for the plush? Because you sort of take it from the children's book into a whole new dimension.
Well, I wanted to create their own little world, so the kids could really use their imaginations and bring the character into their everyday life. And, I remember what I loved as a child. And so I was so the kid that was off in the playground in the trees, pretending I had a lion with so much toy, just off in my own little world. So I was just thinking about the things that I can really easily go back and remember the things that I loved. And something that I really loved was the plush toys and the having that collection of stuffed animals and having tea parties and doing that kind of thing. So I just wanted to bring that joy to the children that have the books and give them that connection to the character. And that's the same reason why we kind of moved to the cartoon as well, just creating this world. I remember I loved Winnie the Pooh and where you really feel like the characters and you can experience their world. And so that's what I wanted to create. And I'm very particular with the toys. So I wanted to make sure that, every detail's been thought out. I mean, I sourced the fabric. So it's a very, very soft, high quality plush velour, and they're being weighted. And I love doing all the little details, making sure that everything kind of flows together it's just fun.
Well, and they're so, their little expressions on their face. And I know that when you had the Lily character, I mean, she had her own little hairbrush, her with her hair, her beautiful fur. And you could tell that you put a lot of detail in it. And with Farley, I mean, the little look on his face, and I too, many, many years ago, I didn't play with dolls. I didn't play with anything. I played with my pets, and I had all my stuffed animals. And I'm telling you, my bed was a jungle. I had all different kinds of animals. I had dogs, cats, lions, tiger. I mean, I had everything, elephants, my bed. You couldn't even see my bed. I had some, and each morning I'd make my bed and put each one of those stuffed animals back up on my bed. But it was like you said, it's like a child's world. They love it. And that's like the magic that you bring to your characters. And these little plush, it's so cute because all kids need a friend. And what a better friend to have than that. So,
yes. And I think too, it's like, we were obviously both animal lovers, right? So even for those children that maybe they can't have a puppy yet, it kind of gives them that kind of hope for the future of getting that puppy or that little kitten, or to have that real animal friend, But I always, similar to you, I loved animals. So I think that part of that love for even the toys is that love of the real animals. I loved horses and I loved dogs and I loved, every animal. But and I think that reflects in the stories where I tend to use the puppies as the main characters. And because they were always like people to me, their little personalities.
We both know each other's pets, so it's
Our
like
family.
They're our family. Yes, we both treat them like family, as many of the listeners do also. They could totally relate to what we're talking about. I have to tell you, speaking of characters, I get so many comments on people who tell me how much they love Miss Olive's character, her little facial expressions, the way her little outfits are on her, the way her little legs are. I mean, she appears to be this very genuine, vulnerable, sweet, kind little character. And I just there was such a process that we went to together, but I mean, you're the one that helped me go through this process. I never even would have thought of it, to actually test Olive as an illustrated little doggy with real children. And we did that. And can you just tell me a little bit about the thought process behind that and the other Olives that we had created? And then we came up with this one.
That was a wonderful idea, actually. I believe that was your idea to ask the children what they loved. And Olive is the best inspiration ever because that is her to a T in real life. So, I mean, I didn't really have to, go that far for inspiration because I had her, right in front of me, this sweet, vulnerable, little, beautiful dog with her adorable outfit. So we had, I had a lot of inspiration. But we did a more realistic illustration. And then kind of a more cartoony one. And then we did a very whimsical, kind of more of a folk art type look. And then we asked the children which one they liked, and they gravitated towards that whimsical look. So that was wonderful to get feedback from the kids and to see what they really loved and what they related to. And I think that represents her so well because she's just so sweet and she has that whimsy, So I think that style, that's what made us decide to go with that style. But I think that just fits Miss Olive.
Well, and it's really interesting because there's been a great outpouring for love for her character, the way she looks. And of course, it was very important to me. And you were so good when you went along with me on it. I wanted it to be pink. I wanted it to be pastel-y. I wanted it to be, when someone looked at it, that it just lit them up and it made them happy. And when we tested it in front of these children, this is the type of book that they were gravitating to. And I don't know if you remember, Rebekah, but I went to someone quite big, and they said no one's going to want to read about a rescue dog with 3 legs whose tongue hangs out, and the book's all pink.
You have to go with your heart and don't listen to the opinions of others, because people, I mean, that was actually hurtful. I remember when he said that, and it's actually kind of went along with the messaging of Olive's books of just being true to yourself and and being accepting who you are and who you've been made to be, right? So that was actually a lesson for both of us during the process of what it is that the beautiful messaging that the books represent.
Yeah, it actually
we stand up for that.
Yeah, it sort of like gave us more. We were both passionate about it because Olive's message is it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside, it's the love and kindness you have on the inside that counts. And our messaging, even between each other with Olive, never got lost. You always supported me. Very fortunate to have you not only as my illustrator, but kind of as a partner. You helped to get me to bring the characters to the next level. Went from obviously her finding her forever home. The next book was about bullying and how she dealt with bullying, which though Olive has been bullied, I also had another dog that was bullied, and it was set in the dog park that my other dog was bullied in, and she also had 3 legs. I wanted to bring it to life, and you totally were on board and going, no, this is going to work. Anti-bullying, it's totally going to work. And then, of course, we did the holiday one, which had to be kind of changed up a little because of the circumstances that were in the world. I didn't want to have it at an outdoor event as it was originally written because I wrote it years ago. So we kind of changed it up, and I think that it turned out to be this beautiful, magical holiday book. But I thank you because no matter what I said to you, you came back with an even better or more magical or more whimsical idea that when I'd see it on the paper, it was more than I ever thought that it could be.
Oh, well, it's a joy to me to listen to someone's ideas. Like, you have wonderful ideas, and be able to just use what I've learned and be able to bring that to life. So it's so nice when you're working with someone that knows what they want and that has an idea and has that creativity, because then we can work together as a team. And that's what I love. I love being able to, when you give those clear ideas, to be able to help you to, put them, bring them to life.
Yes. And you do that so well. I mean, the feedback that I get is constant, and it's been so positive. I mean, the holiday book, probably I had the biggest feedback from, the most positive. The other two were positive, but I think that the holiday book, the message was not only what you look like on the outside, it's the love you have on the inside, but the whole idea about holidays is it's not what you get, it's the love that you give and the kindness that you give, and it's paying back and paying forward, and that message was so clearly received by the people who were reading the books, or whose children were reading the books, or grandchildren, nieces, nephews. I mean, I've gotten feedback from so many people that it took the meaning of the holidays and just their kids loved it. So I thank you very much.
Well, children's books too, they're such a powerful tool for teaching. When you think about you're spending that quality time with the parents are spending that quality time reading that book aloud and explaining the messaging. And it's such a good way for that messaging to really get into the children's hearts, because they're sitting there with quality time with the parents. Like, we live in such a distracted world that that is such an important teaching tool together.
Yes, it is. And I think that bond, it goes, I mean, I know that, and I know you were too, as a child, when you're read to it, and you have these books, these characters in these books that you fall in love with, and you share that with the person who's reading the book to you. I think that's that brings it up to a bonding up to a whole new level.
Yeah, something they'll never forget.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, you illustrated our books, the 3 books for Miss Olive and the Doggy Diva Diaries, but you also illustrate for other children's authors. Can you tell us a little about that and your inspiration for the characters that are in their books? Because Olive's is totally about a dog, but you also illustrate children.
Yeah, so I actually met, there's another author that I work with named Katherine Gibson, and she's just a beautiful person. Oh my goodness. And she has a organization called For Children with Love. And I illustrate a couple books for her. One is Lily Loves Books, and the other is Gracie Saves the Day. And they have great messaging. And I'm I'll take on a project if I really believe in, what they're saying and what they're doing. And she's just an incredible woman. And the books have really great messages. So yes, I enjoy, my favorite is illustrating animals because it's just what I love to do. But she had her, just like you, she was wonderful to work with. She had a very particular idea of what she wanted her characters to look like. So we went through that same process of kind of trying out some different looks for her books. And that's fun for me too, to be able to try these different styles and see if I can really kind of bring to life exactly what it is they're looking for. And sometimes it's hard to explain what it is that you see in your head, so there's a little bit of back and forth to go, okay, now I got it.
And you always did. I was very descriptive and particular in what I wanted, and you'd like, oh, okay. And you'd send it back to me, and I go, oh my gosh, magic.
That's so helpful. The more descriptive, the better. It's good. But I feel really lucky. I feel really blessed that everyone that I've worked with has just been such a joy to work with. And it becomes like your baby, bringing these different books to life, and you're just excited about it together. So,
you make that easy, Rebekah. I'll tell you that. You make being a partner in all of this easy. So what what projects are you working on now? I mean, as far as myself, the 3rd book in the trilogy came out, though I already have people asking me, are you going to do I said, well, the trilogy's done. They go, well, how about a prequel on Sophie and Olive, and before Olive became the diva? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even think of that right now. But what other projects is it that I know? Oh my goodness. What other projects are you working on right now?
So I actually there's a few books that I've written a while ago that I wanted to get back to that are more of like the picture books. Mm-hmm. But then I also, I have to finish the last book in the Farley and Friends series. And the Farley and Friends series, each book represents one of the pledges in the Friendship Pledge Promise. So the kids, they get this iron-on patch, and there's 5 promises in the pledge. So I really need to get that last book done, because that It represents the last promise in the pledge. So I want to have this series that it's a little pre-chapter series. Have it so it's more like a book club. So when they've completed all the 5 books, which are 3 chapters each, then they get the friendship patch. It becomes more of like a goal to read through the 5 books, and they're part of the friendship club, and they have the friendship patch. And,
I love that.
So I really do need to get that last book published and out. And with everything that's gone on in the world in the past 2 years, I've had the other books finished, but they haven't been published. So hopefully that I'll be able to get everything printed and out, so it's a collection. And then I'm just going to continue to work on. I have this story called Frowns Upside Down, which is a really great message for for everything that's been going on in the world now. Just about spreading love and joy and kindness, and how just one act of kindness can really create this domino effect that can help change the day. So
and that's so important, especially with
books that I've been
children
sitting
now.
and waiting to be illustrated, and I'm going to focus on that and just continue with Farley. And the Farley and Friends, the plushie just got picked up by 1-800-Flowers. So that's exciting. It's up on there.
That is great. And he's so adorable too. And I just want to clarify, Olive's books are like children's picture books, but Farley is for a little bit like the next level up. And
it's like 2nd grade.
Yes.
2nd grade. Yep.
And the stories that he has, the message that he sends is very, very important. And your other children's books, I just want to touch on for a second, because you always had, which you helped me do with this book, because we had Sophie as like a little fairy dog mother, like a little fairy and all the things. And you used to have little hidden like mice and little cute little things. And I remember you had the little plush ones, and the kids would love them. And they had little messages.
Yes. So I had these little plush mice made, and they had different character qualities. And then that kind of transitioned into this little character named Cornelius. And he actually, if people go to my Etsy shop, if they look up Pawz Publishing, Pawz Publishing, Cornelius is actually great for any age. He's a little mouse. He's got these little wireframe glasses, and he comes in this little gift box with a book of inspiring poems. So he is the character that's hidden throughout, and then became a main character in the Farley and Friends series. But I love, once again, just going back to the things that we loved in childhood. I always loved the little Easter egg.
The little Easter egg. Yes.
So, that's something. And the kids like looking for it. He would be kind of hidden in the first couple books. There was the little hidden mouse.
I think that's so
that
cute.
They could look for.
In Olive's books, and through the theme of your books, and it seems like kind of everything you touch, there's a theme of love and kindness. And with Olive's, it had her forever friends and family. And one of her forever friends, we've been talking about all these animals that we love, is your sweet little Mocha. Before we go, can you tell all the listeners about your little Mocha?
Oh my goodness. Well, Mocha is the love of my life. She is a Pug and King Charles Cavalier mix. And you might be like wondering what that looks like, but she actually looks like a miniature boxer.
She's so
cute.
And
now that the pug gene is fully kicked in, a chubby miniature boxer.
She's so cute.
She's got the more reddish, fur and the kind of long legs, but she's still very tiny. And she is just so full of personality. She's just the most loving little doggy I've ever had in my life. And I actually did write a story about Mocha, and I got to get back on that, but and get her story out too. But,
she's so cute.
She's adorable. She's got those big expressive
eyes. Yep.
I found a little puppy that looks just like Mocha, and it looks like a mini Mocha, and we couldn't resist.
Nice. That's so nice. And you know what, Rebekah, you fostered another dog, and Mocha loved being a sister. So I think that this is going to be really good. Being in a house with 3 dogs, it always helps, I think, when you have more dogs for them to interact with in your home. It's great, and I think it keeps them stimulated and their intellect go. They're very. And they bond. I think it's so wonderful. So, congratulations.
Absolutely.
I'm so happy for you.
I'll send you a picture. But Mocha definitely, pugs tend to be on the sleepier side, so we were thinking for her, because she loves to play, and she did so well with Mumu, our foster. And yes, I think that'll be really good for her, just like you're saying, as a playmate, and to kind of get her up. She's the type that you walk her one time around the block and then she puts the brakes on. She's like, that's it, I'm done. No more.
I know, I have 3 of those. I understand that totally. Okay, walk time's over.
Yeah, we're done.
We're done. So, Rebekah, where can the listeners go to learn more about you, learn more about your amazing work, your books, your Etsy shop? I mean, you have so much, and it's such a delight to see them and to be a part of it. So where can the listeners go to learn more about you and all of your amazing work?
Sure. So there's actually, this might be a little confusing, but there's 3 different sites that they can find me on. One is the Farley and Friends, and it's spelled Farlee, Farley and Friends, instead of the EY. So Farlee, farleyandfriends.com. And the next is Pawz Publishing, which is PAWZ Publishing. And if they just Google that, the Etsy page should come up. And then the other is my website, which is Rebekah, and it's REBEKAH, RebekahPhillips.com. And they can just kind of see some of the other work that I've done. And I think if you do Google my name, some of the other stories that I've, done illustration for and things like that will come up. Oh, I didn't talk about this one, but there's also a book that I recently illustrated for a musician named Mark Broussard.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful book, beautiful story that he wrote, and he actually wrote that for a children's hospital in Louisiana. Oh. So the portion of proceeds go back to the children's hospital.
Oh, that's so nice. So, and I remember when you were a part of that. That's a big honor, and it was for such a good cause. Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, they, my website or just those three areas, those 3 sites, they can find me.
And I think if you just Google, you'll see a lot. I mean, that's so.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, Rebekah, thank you so much for being our guest, and thank you for creating such magical characters and illustrations for all of us to all of us as readers and people who are out here just like loving things that bring kindness and joy and love to our hearts, and your illustrations and your work and your books do. And of course, for my sweet Olive, you brought this little magical character to life who the world has fallen in love with. So I thank you so much. And thank you for being our guest. And I can't believe it, Rebekah, we published the first book in 2018. So, and it's coming up to the date when we just had the release. So I thank you so much.
Yeah, for it's been that. A joy. This has been my pleasure.
What a magical ride this has been. So I thank you so much. And who knows, we may be getting together maybe next year, who knows, to do the prequel, but we'll put I have to rest from the other ones. And I love them. So I love them. They're, as you, it's like part of my family. I just love all the books. I'm a book person, and I love anything to do with books and dogs, and cats.
And it's just the beginning, because now that it's a finished trilogy, more people are going to learn about it and learn about Miss Olive and appreciate the books, and it's going to be wonderful.
Oh, you're wonderful. So I thank you so very much, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. And hopefully we'll be talking again soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
We would like to thank our guests this week. And also, as our Doggy Divas always say, please love your pets because they love you unconditionally. And please remember to adopt, foster, spay, neuter, and microchip. And as always, please have a great Diva week, everyone.
That's all for this episode of The Doggy Diva Show. To find out more, go to our website, thedoggydiva.com. Also, find us on our Facebook page, The Doggy Diva Show, and tell your fellow dog lovers about it. Don't miss Susan Marie, Miss Olive, and the Doggy Divas right here for the next episode. See you again soon.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.